Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your location. My name is Adegoke Omotola. This is Leadership Talk with Adegoke, the 69th edition, and I'm on the platform with my friend and my brother, Oke Ezioke. And we're going to be looking at leadership, and consumer attitudes. How are you, my friend?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on your platform. It's a very great privilege.
Yeah. I just want you to just share how did you come into contact with Leadership Talk with Adegoke? Just, give us a.
uh, Obviously, leadership is a big part of business, and I'm one to listen to business podcasts, you
Yeah.
know, and obviously I was in the UK then, and coming to Nigeria, my recommendations actually switched to some podcasts in Nigeria, and I just flipped through. I saw yours. I saw your
Wow.
picture there. I was like, let me let me try this person. It's been a nice ride from there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But what's been the best podcast that you've listened to on all the episodes? Is there anyone that you can remember?
I think one that's been very impactful to me and to one of my friends also is, coming out of your shell as a leader.
Okay.
Sometimes people have capabilities, but then the confidence to present themselves in front of people is very, very hard. So it's just always about reminding yourself that you're capable, you're enough, you're good
So
enough.
what's the title of the episode? Do you know?
I can't exactly remember the title. I just
Is
know
it
the
is it
content.
is it leadership and visibility?
Exactly, that's the exact one.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. So you move from listener to also being a speaker on the
a
podcast now.
speaker.
It's amazing. I
Yeah,
just want to
yeah.
celebrate you and salute, your the relationship that we have and also your followership as well. Now,
Thank you.
now tell us who is okay.
Well, I'm a young man, as most of you can see. I'm a lawyer. Uh, I won't say I'm an academic, but I do love education, and
Okay.
I have my uh, LLB from University of Essex in London, an LLM in Energy and Environmental Law from University of Aberdeen, Scotland, and recently an MBA focused on innovation and entrepreneurship from University of Westminster in London. I'm someone who generally, like I said, I love education, I love learning, and recently that's come on the business side, no longer
Yeah. Yeah.
totally on the legal side.
Yeah.
So that's me. Just love learning, love all of that.
Awesome. 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 Now, tell us what is your understanding of leadership?
Mm. Okay, so my understanding of leadership comes in two aspects, even though some people might like to say they are one and the same. So I like to look at leadership from a personal perspective
Yeah.
and leadership from a company or commercial perspective,
Yeah.
you know. And in all those facets of, definitions, to me, it still means being in a position where you are seen as an authoritative figure, someone who in that industry is a company in that space that people look up to in terms of aspirations,
Awesome.
goals they want to achieve, and things like that.
Awesome. 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 Well done. If you just joined us, this is Leadership Talk with Adegoke, the 69th podcast episode, and we're looking at leadership and consumer attitudes. Now, what can you define consumer attitudes for us?
So consumer attitudes are basically, I will put in terms of psychological uh, prompts we've given ourselves in terms
Okay.
to purchasing a product. So an attitude is different from a consumer behavior.
All right.
So the attitude can also be very different from the behavior you show. For instance, now, my psychological attitude towards something might be, I want this to be sustainable. I want sustainable clothes. I want to purchase from only sustainable brands. But my
Yeah.
behavior, which research has shown, is I end up buying unsustainable items and all of that. So it's just a psychological moment, you know, which shows our preferences towards different things. But
Okay.
then the behavior,
Hmm.
on the other hand, can be day and night.
Wow, wow. So would you say that it takes a lot to gain customer loyalty and maintain it as well?
Mm, I feel like in this day and time is extremely hard, you know,
Wow. Why is
because like
that?
I said, nowadays, let's just put in relation to present day. COVID has come here, has basically ravaged the economy. People are on backpedaling. Finances are very important now.
Yeah.
So now it's not much so about loyalty in a time of crisis to a brand. It's
Okay.
about who is offering you the best bang for your buck.
Wow. Wow.
So this is why I was talking about the consumer attitude itself, and then the behavior consumers present in times of crisis, which
Wow.
is what we're having now.
Wow. Wow. Fortunately for me, I have experience in this area. I'm a certified customer service trainer, certified by the Quality Service Institute in Minnesota, in the US, about 10 years now, by a guy named called John Scholl. And I also have a book on customer retention and experiential approach. Uh, we've just done the fourth reprint. So the book has been available for about, you know, the first was written about 12 years ago. So I pretty much have an understanding of customers, consumers, but you know, on this platform, I'm going to allow you to take the lead because you are you are also an expert in that area or a leader in that area. Now, what's the relationship between leadership and consumer attitudes?
Okay, to answer this question, we need to assess things from different standpoints,
Yeah.
which is for there to be consumers, there has to be a product,
Okay.
or a service which is being marketed to them,
Awesome.
you know. And for companies that are trying to, market these strategies, consumer attitudes are very, very important to them, you know.
Awesome. Yeah.
So, in essence, a positive consumer attitude towards a product or service is the, guarantee per
Hmm.
se for success. It may
Wow.
not always give you success, but you are definitely on the best road towards
Wow.
success. So
Wow.
now, if as a leader, you cannot meet the requirements of analyzing the consumer attitudes,
Hmm.
or a player in this industry, you cannot meet the requirements of knowing what these consumer attitudes are presently
Hmm.
and where they are going to be in the future
Hmm.
to determine how it might influence purchasing behavior,
Hmm.
then you're already backsliding. You're
Wow.
already losing your position as a leader in that space
Wow.
because innovation is the game of the day.
Hmm.
And if you don't, you would be left behind basically. So leadership has a lot to do with consumer attitude. You can even say, for most leadership positions, if you're not in tune with consumer attitudes, then you have no business with leadership.
Wow. 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 If you're not in tune with consumer attitudes, you have no business in leading. Wow. That's a powerful one from Okay, Easy Okay. I just want to salute you and celebrate the depth of knowledge that you're sharing with us. Now, what are the tools that a leader can use to uh, gain an insight into consumer attitudes? Any tools?
Well, I mean, there's really no easy way. You just have to get down and do the research. You
Okay.
know, in different ways, you have researchers in different fields, different kinds of things. Most times, academic research is very, very useful in a lot of spaces to get in tune with consumer attitudes, you know, and also using academic research to, lay out or create a gradient for what is actually happening in the real world.
Hmm.
Those are literally the best tools you can have. You need to also have, as a leader, you need to someone that is flexible.
Wow.
If you're not flexible, no matter the amount of research you're given, you will not be able to act on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you need all the research you can get
Well,
in any
well,
case.
Awesome. When you speak about research, I mean, I want to refer to my book again, Customer Retention and Experiential Approach. It's available on Amazon, and I also have a book on selling in crisis, on Amazon as well. And my course is on Udemy, World Class Customer Service on Udemy. So, you need all the tools. You need resources even at the time like this. So feel free to reach out to those on those platforms, and get some resources that I have. And it's we continue to update the content. Now I want you to speak to obviously you said that a leader that is not able to you know use tools to investigate and identify the consumer attitudes, because it's very fluid right now, um, is likely to go extinct. Now I want you to share with that leader right now three things that he can do apart from being flexible. What can a leader do right now with the pandemic and the disruptions globally? I mean, you are an entrepreneur. What can a leader do right now uh to pivot?
Okay. I think first of all, as a leader, if you are just thinking of pivoting at this point,
Yeah.
you've done something completely wrong somewhere.
Wow. Wow.
you know, because part of the facets of being a leader is that you already, and I mean, this is a black swan event, which is in any case an event which we could not reasonably foresee,
Mm,
you know, but then there should be at least a level of preparation for something unforeseen
okay.
by every leader, you know, and at this point now, if you somehow come to the position where you were not prepared at all,
Mm,
you need people, you need a good team.
mm.
Because at this point now, you cannot do anything on your own anymore. Because whatever you say has to be implemented.
Wow.
And if you cannot bring your team up to speed, then there are huge, huge problems waiting for you.
Mm,
So I think at this point, for anyone trying to pivot, you need to be in tune with your team. You need to pass the vision across to them.
awesome.
You also need to be willing to take a back seat
Mm,
if you weren't doing that at the same time, because in times of crisis, everybody's running everywhere, helter skelter, things are on fire. You might want to take full control of everything that is happening, but that's very counterproductive, you
mm.
know, because you need your team to be able to flesh out your ideas and your vision and everything.
Okay.
Also, at this juncture as well, you might not, like I said, if you're just realizing you need to pivot, you may
Yes.
also need to realize you're not the best person in the room at the
Okay.
same time. So getting advice from external consultants, you
Okay.
know, is also a very good way to get you on your feet faster. And reaching out to thought leaders like you in the space
Yeah.
can be a good way to help yourself uh, move on quicker.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow. Awesome. 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 This is good stuff. This is good stuff. Now I want to also find out, apart from uh the average consumer that is also very fluid and learning and adapting, are there any fresh ideas that one can even implement right now as a leader to stay ahead of the curve? I know you
well,
mentioned three. Yeah.
the ideas I mentioned previously are not really fresh ideas to stay ahead of the curve. You're
Okay.
simply adapting to the markets
Okay.
already available. But then there are sort of opinion leaders in the market. The general thought is, as a leader, you look for what the market wants
Okay.
and you give it to them.
All right.
But then there are also leaders that create that want
Wow.
in the
Create.
market.
Wow.
You know, let's take for example Apple.
Hmm.
You know, nobody said, "Oh, okay, you need uh, you need an Apple Watch."
Yeah.
you know, an Apple Watch before an Apple Watch came out served almost no purpose to you.
That's right.
all their mini iPads, all of these devices they bring out, they essentially serve no purpose to you
That's right.
in terms of actual need,
Hmm.
But they've given you this product, they've presented this product to you like it's the next best thing in the world, and all of a sudden, I need an iPad,
Hmm.
I need an Apple Watch. It's not a need per se.
Hmm.
It's just they are just leaders who are in the business of shaping opinions.
Wow.
You know, another that's like as a company, that's
Hmm.
what they're doing. Another leader who, from a personal perspective, also shapes opinions is Elon Musk. You
Yeah,
know,
that's right. That's right.
you know,
Using
a lot,
Twitter. Yeah.
yeah. I'm sure you've seen the chaos it causes on Twitter,
Yeah.
and in the cryptocurrency space, for example, now he can say, "Let us buy this cryptocurrency." By him saying, "Let us buy this cryptocurrency," he is moving the market tremendously
Wow.
because as a leader in that space, not a lot of people are as knowledgeable as him. So they believe in his authority
That's right.
as a leader. So at that moment, it is not something they essentially need.
Hmm.
It's not a need they need to fulfill. But because Elon Musk has said, let us invest in this, all of
Wow.
a sudden, everybody's opinion is, I think this is a good investment.
Wow.
So I like to call it opinion leadership,
Hmm.
or as we've come to call it this, the influencers.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. So
Awesome.
those leaders in those space are very good.
Awesome. Awesome. So we are also opinion leaders. I mean, leadership talk with Adegoke. We've helped to, you know, you know, put some clarity on leadership. Speaking to
Mm.
leadership on different perspective from different perspectives. This is the 69th podcast, and we're looking at leadership and consumer attitudes. And here I'm on the platform with my friend, okay, is it okay? And we're just adding value, and it's a way of, influencing and speaking and trying to add value globally, and we're doing that. Thank you so much. Now, I want you to also give some clarity. Consumers. We've spoken about the attitudes that you need to understand the psychology of the average consumer. Now, the consumer right now, would you say they're more informed than about 10 years ago, or they are quick to you know jump ship? you know would you say that they're not as loyal? I know you said that earlier, but I want you to drill down. Yeah. What's in their thinking right now? How are they thinking,
Mm,
consumers?
Well, I mean, the world 10 years ago was not as intertwined as it is
Hmm.
now. Markets 10 years ago were not as open as they are now. I mean, in Nigeria, for instance, 10 years ago, you didn't have as much competition in
Hmm.
the space as
Hmm.
you have now.
Yeah.
And what competition brings about is, in some cases, better quality products, lower prices, better service in different places, you know. So before, when you were the only one on the continent in that geographic location who was offering a service, your customers are loyal to you, firstly because there's no other competitor. They've not seen anything better.
Hmm.
You can only compare something to something else you've seen, you
That's
know.
right.
Number two, they didn't have access.
Hmm.
The kind of access we have now to different markets is unparalleled. You know,
Wow. Wow.
you can decide to shop in China today. You don't really care. Your product will get to you 10 days, 15 days. You
Hmm.
know, so nowadays it is actually harder. To keep consumers on your own platform, to keep, let's take the fashion industry, for example, to keep buying with you, to
Hmm.
keep shopping with you and all of that, because they have more access, they are more knowledgeable, they are more, diverse.
Hmm.
Attitudes for the boomers, millennials, and Gen Z,
Hmm.
they all differ in
Hmm.
different ways.
Hmm.
You know, the way a boomer would shop is not the way a millennial would shop. The way someone from Gen Z would shop is not the way a millennial will shop, even though they both have similarities, you know. So they are not as loyal as we would like to believe.
Wow,
You
wow,
know, they are
wow.
definitely not as loyal. They are more informed,
Mm.
100% more informed, but then they are not as loyal. Definitely
Wow,
not.
wow, wow, wow. Awesome, awesome nuggets, awesome nuggets. I just want to say that we're learning so much on this session. Now, there's no doubt that in terms of what would you say is happening globally right now in terms of purchasing power for the consumer? I know there's been some shift in the market right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, well, consumers are very strong now. I
Wow.
mean, consumer has always been strong, but they are extremely strong now because, like I said, they don't need to shop from you in their geographical location. The choice of an alternative is not so absurd.
Hmm.
Anything you want today, you can probably find an alternative to it at 20 other places just by typing on your computer,
Hmm.
you know. So the cost of retaining a consumer is so high now.
Hmm.
And it's so bad that, if you can't move quickly, you
Hmm.
lose a lot of what you've gained.
Wow.
If you can't foresee where those attitudes are going towards, you
Hmm.
basically lock out. An
Wow.
example is, I would always use the fashion industry as an example, which is where I'm most knowledgeable on.
Hmm.
An example is, we all know Topshop
Yeah.
in the UK,
Yeah.
Topshop, Topman, and
Yeah.
and the rest of them. They were, you know, the Arcadia Group,
Hmm.
big, big, big conglomerates, been there for more than 18 years.
Hmm.
And once COVID hit,
Hmm.
they filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And another player who is barely 10 years, ASOS, bought them up,
Hmm.
you know. And it still goes to the same thing. ASOS had been seeing that consumers were wanting more online shopping, all of that. Meanwhile, Topshop and the rest, they were not investing as much resources
Wow.
into those online platforms.
Hmm.
So when this pandemic hit, we all suddenly had, not just, it wasn't just a preference anymore.
Hmm.
We had a need to
Hmm.
do everything online.
Hmm.
And guess who locked out? All the big brands with their, multi-talented CEOs and wonderful leaders that could not even see where the future was going to.
Hmm.
Now they've given the consumer also no choice because their online platforms are not as advanced as these
Wow.
other ones.
Wow.
So what did the consumers do? They switched immediately.
Hmm.
There's almost no barrier anymore
Hmm.
to going somewhere else to purchase. You
Hmm.
know, consumers are very fickle about pricing now,
Hmm.
and for them to find that alternative price is not hard.
Hmm.
So if unless you've created like a niche of, let's say, a luxury goods segment,
Hmm.
where your consumers who are buying luxury goods will not easily switch to some other brand. But for the majority of consumers, they are now price fickle.
Wow. 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 Awesome. Awesome. So you're saying every leader must now have an online strategy in terms of, reaching out to the consumers. It's not something that is negotiable.
It is not negotiable at all. If you do not have an online platform of some sort and you're not investing heavily in that, you
Wow.
will be extinct. You are
Wow.
going to be extinct.
Wow. So your online presence must be, you know, above and beyond.
Yes, you must treat it as your first point of call. You
Wow.
know,
Wow.
COVID has accelerated our digital footprint. The amount of digital adoption we have now
Yeah.
is what researchers had thought we would have in 5 years.
Wow.
So everything has come at an accelerated pace.
Hmm.
So if you were saying in 3 years I would have my online platform, you need to do it tomorrow.
Wow.
Actually, you need to have done it yesterday, you
Wow.
know, because it's no longer negotiable. It's even in less developed countries,
Hmm.
consumers there, they now want to shop online.
Hmm.
It's they want to do things online. Nobody wants to start traveling from Abuja down to Lagos,
Hmm.
for a meeting they can have over Zoom.
Wow.
The pandemic has shifted a lot of attitudes
Hmm.
as well. So
Hmm.
you need to have some sort of digital strategy.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. Wow. This has been awesome. This has been awesome. Leadership and consumer attitudes. This is the 69 podcast, and we getting to the closing uh, segment of this program. I'd just like to ask you, what is that one thing that you'd like to say to any leader right now regarding consumer attitudes? One thing.
Okay, I think for me in this space and for everyone,
Yeah.
you know, now the attitudes we have now may not subsist. They may change tomorrow. And as leaders, sometimes we like to be in this bubble of we know everything,
That's
you
right.
know, So I think my advice to every other leader is, reach out, collaborate with people,
Wow.
tap into different wells of knowledge. You know, Information is so free now that you don't sometimes you might not even need to pay for what you need.
Wow.
Everything is on the internet.
Hmm.
Like now, I learned a lot from your podcast before coming on here.
Thank you so much.
Information is everywhere. So having that mindset that even though you're a leader in this space, you may not be the most knowledgeable person.
Hmm.
And having the idea that, reaching out and collaborating with other people is also good for you,
Awesome.
good for your brand, and good for everyone. There's no shame in it at all whatsoever.
Hmm. This is good. So good. So good. Collaboration. Collaboration. I mean, I love that word, and I cherish it so much that in fact they call me Mr. Collabo. You know, yeah, because I do a lot of collaborations. I don't you know I don't like working alone. There's a saying that one can go fast, but two can go very far. You know, yeah, that's if you want to go very far, and that's what uh, OK is telling us and letting our listeners know that you need collaboration, even at a time like this, more than ever before. Now, do you have mentors? Mentors?
Hmm. So I think this is one, this is one issue or one particular area where I kind of differ
Yeah.
to most people. Most people, their mentors would come from, spaces where they are involved. But, I still take my mentors as my parents.
Okay.
They are
Wow.
they are still leaders in their own fields.
Yeah.
Very good experts in their field.
Yeah.
So and I learned a lot both from my mom, my dad, two different styles of leadership.
Yep.
I might add, but
Wow.
still two different styles of leadership that have imbibed in me, and sometimes one has been more useful than the other, and maybe this might not work for everyone because like I said, they are both very very top leaders and experts in their
In the
fields.
field. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it has worked out really good for me, and they have the most influence on most things I would do, even from a professional perspective.
Well, I can attest to that. Your mom is a leader. Also on the John Maxwell team. We both belong to the same team, and we're showing up also, and privileged to also have a son uh, speak to on leadership, which is something that one needs to celebrate. And I wish you many more you know impactful years ahead, as you speak on this topic, leadership and consumer attitudes. You are an influencer in this space, and we need more people like you to show up, uh, to put some flesh on this very wonderful area. Now, finally, um, if our listeners want to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you?
You can find me on LinkedIn
Okay.
primarily,
Okay.
and if that's too formal for you, you can reach out to me on Instagram at K, that's KAY underscore Ezeoke. That's my surname. So KAY underscore EZEOKE. If LinkedIn is too formal for you, just shoot me a DM and I would reply you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So you've heard him from okay on leadership and consumer attitudes, the 69th podcast, Leadership Talk with Adegoke. And I just want to remind our listeners, this topic is so is an area where I'm so passionate about consumer attitudes. I have a book, leadership on sorry on customer retention and experiential approach. um, it's available on Amazon. I have also my course that would help you to know the mind of the consumer. It's called World Class Customer Service on Udemy. So feel free to purchase these resources, and it would add value to you. So once again, thank you for tuning in on another powerful session of Leadership Talk with Adegoke, uh, and looking at leadership and consumer attitudes with my friend Okay Ezioke. Thank you so much. You want to say bye bye to our audience?
Thank you, Adegoke, for having me, and for the listeners, thank you for listening to me. I hope you find value in what I've
Well
given
done.
you.
Well done. Thank you.